now that we've corrected her skin, I need such a small amount of foundation to quote unquote finish the job. So I'm going to take a small amount of foundation, turn towards me, and the same stroke that you saw me use when I was doing the primer, I'm going to use with her foundation. So I want you to take a very small amount of foundation. I want you to stroke it until there's nothing left to stroke. Notice I turn my brush, I brush it out, I turn my brush, because product transfers. Also notice the position of my brush. It's perpendicular to the face. Don't use the side of the brush this way. Try to just use the tip so you don't fill these hairs up with too much makeup and ends up going on very streaky. Turn the other way. Then once you get foundation gently across one cheek, then I want you to go to the other side. So while I'm busy working over here, this side is drying. It's air drying. So what that means is after I get my first thin layer of foundation on her skin, I can then go back and apply a second layer, creating buildable coverage on her skin. If you keep putting makeup over the top of makeup, trying to get more coverage, the wet on top keeps taking the wet off of the bottom. That's no good, because you'll never get what you want and you end up with way too much foundation on your skin. So instead, what I do, turn towards me please, is I just work in nice, gentle, thin fanning stroke, especially on the forehead, and I get my first thin layer on the skin, and then I decide if I need more. So this is kind of cool, and I've discovered this recently. Look up please. I'm taking the foundation now, I'm going to stroke it under her eye, going over the top of that pink part of that corrector wheel, and I'm going to clean up under her eye. Now you notice that, you know, Farrah had a little bit of darkness going on around her eyes, but take a look at that, looking straight ahead. Look how that brightened up her eye by just using foundation. So my point is, she may not need concealer under her eye. The corrector is going to do all the work, which means less makeup is all, you know, less to go wrong during the day, less to streak, less to crease. So of course the idea is to make skin look like skin. Turn towards me please. Then I'm going to just stroke out on this side. I don't think I got this side of her face. Turn all the way towards me please. Thank you. And I'm just going to stroke, stroke, stroke all the way out. And I notice she has a little bit of redness here. So this is what I'm going to do, buildable coverage. Now when I do that foundation the second time, it sticks to that top layer of foundation. So this way I get the look that I want. And again, I'm just adding extra foundation where I need it, as opposed to doing heavy makeup all over her face, because that would just be a crime against Farrah. She's so pretty that we don't want to be slapping all this makeup all over her face, right? Just put it where she, oh wow, this looks awesome. Really smooth. Turn it back towards the front. So a couple little tricks that, well, I like to use, and I'll share them with you, is, you know, once you get that foundation on, you can also clean up your application a little bit. You can take your concealer brush and clean up along the top of the eyebrow. Turn towards me, please. Same thing on the other side. You can really clean up nicely. Look at that. That looks totally smooth and awesome. We love it. So I'm going to do a little trick. And my trick is to just take a little sponge, and I'm going to gently press and roll. Don't rub with your sponge. You just want to flatten and smooth the makeup into the skin. And by pressing and rolling, look how it just becomes part of her anatomy. The way we applied her makeup today, it's as if it's coming up out of her skin. It's not sitting on her skin. And that is definitely a pretty thing. And the last thing I want you to do is just apply a little bit of powder. And when I say just a little bit, I guess that's what I mean. So just take your powder brush, or I'm even using a smaller blush brush. What I'm doing is just, you could even pat the powder into the areas that you want to make sure stay on. Here's the rule. Foundation without powder, 4 hours. Foundation with powder, 8 hours. So if you want to double the life of your foundation, just take the time to do what I just did, and everything will be hunky-dory. Also look up please. You can take a little bit of powder with your sponge and you can press it right under the eye area, especially if you're a person who experiences your line creasing because you have oiliness around your eye. Just press with your sponge like this. That'll really help hold it. Look straight ahead. And there you go, perfect foundation for the finished look. If you're watching this at MakeupGourmet.com, I've listed my current favorite products to achieve this look. Click on one and try it. If you're not at MakeupGourmet.com, go there now to see my favorite product picks for this look, as well as everything else we have to offer. How to apply, what to buy, MakeupGourmet.com.